President Obama once said he wants everybody in America to go to college. What a snob.
What is up with all of these crazy things that Rick Santorum, a guy I like, why does he go down one stupid rabbit trail after another?
But unlike his opponent, I would say he's pandering to no one.
Come on.
Yeah.
The craziest thing about all this is that he may actually win Michigan tonight.
Oh, my God.
So.
I love Micah Brzezinski. Oh, my God. It's like, I don't know what would be worse if the Taliban were running and leading in Michigan or Rick Santorum for some of the people over at MSNBC, right? I mean, it's all one and the same. They're all extremists. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Here on the Laura Ingraham Show, 800-876-4123. Remember, webified, lauraingraham.com. We have the surge on Washington going on right now on our website. The HHS mandate, the big vote in the U.S. Senate to override this outrage by Kathleen Sebelius. There are about 5 or 6 senators. Their offices you must call, and do it today, please. And repeat, if you get a busy signal or you get an answering machine, please do it. Go and go to our website, get that information. A lot of other cool stuff up there as well, and a video of the day that you cannot miss. Joining us now, I'm absolutely delighted, Rick Santorum, former senator from Pennsylvania and presidential candidate. Senator, are you in a rabbit hole? Because that's what everybody at MSNBC, I guess, believes. You're down in a rabbit hole and you're going one way and another, and you just keep running into more dirt.
No, well, you know what happens, Laura. The media is combing through everything you've ever said in your life, and they're throwing these things up, and we're just batting them down. And that's not a rabbit hole. That's the folks shooting at the rabbit. And we're getting out here and we're staying on very much on message here in Michigan, where we're talking about manufacturing jobs and growing the economy here by reducing taxes on manufacturers and all corporations, cutting tax rates and simplifying the tax code, and those things are resonating here with blue collar voters here in Michigan, and particularly the manufacturing portion. And we're also talking a lot about gas prices and what we can do to lower gas prices here, and how the Obama administration on both fronts has really just really stuck it to workers here in Michigan. And I think people are responding. And Governor Romney has no message other than Rick Santorum isn't conservative, and yet you watch MSNBC and everybody says Rick Santorum's too conservative. So that's sort of ringing hollow, I think, in the ears of people here.
The latest from the Associated Press, and this is out of Nashville, where Gingrich was in Tennessee yesterday. He said that you were a, quote, big labor Republican, and he accused you of siding with unions over Memphis-based FedEx when the Senate grappled with the labor dispute back in the 90s. And you said, look, there's a profound reasons that Rick lost the Senate race by the largest margin in Pennsylvania history. I think it's very hard for him to carry that all the way to the general. And he said you voted for the unions over FedEx. Your response?
My response is I took a look at my voting record with the unions and Newt Gingrich's voting record with the unions. Newt Gingrich represented a right-to-work state, one of the most Republican districts in the state of Georgia, no union present whatsoever. He had a 9% AFL-CIO voting record. I represented 2 blue-collar districts, one of the most heavy union districts in the country, and the state of Pennsylvania, which is not a right-to-work state, which is, again, one of the most union-dominated states in the country. And my voting record wasn't 9%. It was all of 13%. So if you look at the two and you look at where we came from and the races we had to run and stand up to and the union influence in those races, we had basically identical voting records on union issues. So if I'm a big labor Republican at 13%, I guess he is at 9%.
How are you going to win in the South being known as a big labor Republican if that label sticks?
Well, how can the label stick? It's just objectively false. I mean, you look at my voting record. I mean, the unions in Pennsylvania in the last election spent $2 to $3 million against the.
That's the line. That's the response, I think.
Leaders who are in the state have been holding press conference. They're just so upset. How dare you call him? We hate him.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to fly.
Yeah, well, I think that's the response. I mean, if I'm the big labor Republican, why do they all fight agast me in my re-election bid? I mean, something doesn't add up with that.
They did everything they could to defeat me. I mean, they're going apoplectic that I would have a chance to win this race. Look, I stand up and I'm for working people no matter what job they have, and we're gonna work hard to make sure that we have an opportunity for people to rise in society, and that's what we're about, opportunity, and that's what's selling here in Michigan, I can tell you.
We're talking to Rick Santorum, neck and neck with Mitt Romney. The vote going on now in Michigan, polls closing in several hours. But if you're able to pull out a victory here in Michigan, Senator Santorum, what does that say to you about Mitt Romney's long-term viability as the Republican nominee, the inevitability factor?
Well, he's winning in states that are simply not states that are the key states that we have to win in order to win the election. I mean, Massachusetts is next week, and I'm sure he'll win there. And he won in Maine and won in New Hampshire, Nevada. He's won in states where he has very much a home court advantage. And as opposed to states where even here in Michigan, which has a huge home court advantage, and yet we're running a very competitive race, being badly outspent here by his million. That feels like billion. Super PAC. And yet we're hanging tough. Why? Because we have a message. We have a message that's resonating with people, as opposed to Governor Romney, whose message is, we're going to beat the living daylights out of whoever gets in my way. And it's just not selling.
Do you have more experience in business than Mitt Romney?
No, I don't have more experience in business, but unlike what he says, I've never had a job in the private sector. Those who practice laws, and what I did for 5 years at a private firm and worked on all sorts of business transactions. That's what I was. I was a lawyer that did all sorts of was a business lawyer, transactional lawyer, and did that for 5 years. And when I left the United States Senate, I was the number 2 guy at a little company, a little startup company for 3 years. So I think I understand small business better than Mitt Romney does. I was a small businessman who tried to take a little company, a technology company, out in a very tough environment in 2008, 2009. But still, we have that experience and of what it means to meet that payroll and to find investors and get technology products refined into marketplace. Worked on how to get those products manufactured. It was a great experience.
Eugene Robinson and Chris Matthews were hyperventilating last night on your favorite network, MSNBC, and they were batting around the idea of you, I guess, as a general election candidate, and this is what they said.
Is he a theocrat? Does he believe churches should run states?
Yes. Yeah, I think he is a theocrat. I think this is what he believes deep down inside. And I think that's obviously dangerous for this country. That's not who we are.
I'm not sure if they think Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is a theocrat, but they definitely think you're a theocrat. So disabuse the country of the notion that Rick Santorum is going to be in your bedrooms taking your birth control, then he's going to be telling you, how to live your marital counseling, then he's going to be telling you to send your kid to the trade schools. I mean, this is the stereotype of you that is out there, and I think some of the times you framed issues, Senator, and we like all you guys, but some of the times you framed your issues, you've given them a little bit of, fodder for their, ammo for their weapons against you. But you can react to the theocrat stereotype.
Well, I'm not a theocrat. I'm not someone who is any evidence anywhere that I've ever imposed my values. I have values. I articulate those as I encourage everybody else to do, and respect everybody else's opinion and difference of opinion. That's what America's about. And the public square in politics is to form consensus and find things and focus on the important issues of public policy to create opportunity for everybody and to be tolerant of different points of view and different people's wants and desires. That's what America is about, opportunity. It's not by imposing somebody's views on you or imposing some result. That's what President Obama is doing. He's the one imposing his views on people of faith. I'm not. I'm just the opposite. I'm completely tolerant of people. That doesn't mean I don't hold opinions, but I'm tolerant and, in fact, encourage people to make their case to the American public.
Yeah, the tolerant. The word tolerance is often used against conservatives, right? You're intolerant because you have beliefs. And I think that's, whether you're for Santorum or Gingrich or Romney or whoever you're supporting, I think all of us have to come along to that understanding that tolerance doesn't mean that you agree with the other person, but look, you respect the fact that people disagree, whether it's the issue of abortion or marriage or whatever it is. We tolerate other people's views, but don't make and force other people to ascribe to your viewpoint, which might be antithetical to your church teaching or your moral conscience. And I think that's where, from what I've known about you for the longest time I've known you, that's how I think you think. But sometimes, Senator, when you're out there and it's like, I'm going to throw up when I heard JFK's line on this. I mean, as a Catholic, I mean, he's kind of a revered president of the United States, assassinated. I probably wouldn't have gone down that road with JFK. I was going to throw up. I mean, I think we don't generally want to hear presidential candidates talking about throwing up at all in any context. Yeah. So that's you know what I mean?
I would agree with that. I wish I had that particular line back. But Laura, I'm out there. I gave a speech, as you know, a year and a half ago in Houston. At Houston Baptist and St. Thomas College in Houston. I encourage people to go and read that text. You will find it is consistent with the founding principles of our country, which is an open and vibrant public square. And if you read President Kennedy's text, while there were certainly some very important things and good things he said in that, there were some things that triggered, in my opinion, the privatization of faith, and I think that's a bad thing. I think we need to have a free exercise of religion in this country, and it's important for those First Amendment freedoms to be alive and well in America. And I think they are threatened here in America, as we've seen by President Obama, not by Rick Santorum.
Yeah, well, I think that, again, the framing of these issues is so critical because we know the left, whether it's something you said as a Mitt Romney or something you said as a, they're all going to be taken out of context, and then they'll use it to define you. Mitt Romney, by the way, is saying that your calls in Michigan are they're not fair, or he's now questioning you're playing with the other team, you're playing with the Democrats, and that Michigan primary should be determined by Republicans, not Democrats. He slammed you big time yesterday.
So when, in New Hampshire, when 53% of the people voted in the primary weren't Republicans, and he went out and encouraged those people to vote, that's okay. But when we go to some of the key states in this country where we're going to need Reagan Democrats to come and vote for us, and I go out and do a call and says, because Rick Santorum is going to create jobs and opportunities here, come out and support Rick Santorum just like we hope you'll do in the general election, that somehow is bad. The voters that are going to be necessary for us to win, that he says he can attract, we're actually attracting and doing well. These are exactly the voters that we need to attract in order to win this election in November. And by the way, Governor Romney has routinely in every state run robocalls using my voice, where I was on your program, by the way, talking about him as a conservative and saying, here's what Rick Santorum has to say about Governor Romney. Now, and that is okay to use something 4 years ago that I said Mitt Romney is a conservative, but for me to go out and say, hey, here's what I stand for, come and vote for us because you're eligible in the primary, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, well, I kind of laughed when he used that robocall with my voice because, look, I mean, I think all of you, was kind of whining about this one's doing this. It's all's fair in love and politics.
Have you heard me whine about it? I only mentioned it.
No, I'm not talking. No. Yeah, no, I'm not talking.
I don't have a glass jaw. If you want to hit me, hit me. But don't go out and then complain when someone hits back.
Yeah, but I mean, even about the alliance with Ron Paul, I mean, if they're going to have an alliance, if it exists, it exists. If it doesn't exist, I just think, just go for it. Just go for it in the best way you can. Oh, by the way, you're going to love this, Rick. Richard Cohen, I know you two tweet back and forth to each other. Richard Cohen today says the title of his column in the Daily News in New York, Rick Santorum, American Mullah. M-U-L-L-A-H. You're a mullah now. So I don't even think these people call the real mullahs mullahs, but you're a mullah.
Yeah, no, they're not allowed to use that term, except, of course, in trying to disparage people that they disagree with here in this country.
Anyway, the mullahs of the world should complain, too, because isn't that an apostasy for them, for a Christian to be called a mullah?
Yes, I think it probably is. They may rise up and start attacking us for that.
Yeah. Hey, Rich.
This is the intolerance, Laura. This is the intolerance of the left. And you're going to see it displayed. They're going to be apoplectic because someone standing up and questioning the basic values that they stand for is going to drive them crazy. And you know what? I think we're going to unite America around the basic principles that made this country the greatest country in the history of the world. And I'm confident we're going to do that here in Michigan and across this country.
Happy warriors out there, the Republicans running for the presidency. We wish all of you the best of luck. And Rick Santorum, I'd never call you mullah. I mean, that just I don't see you as a mullah. That's not where it goes. I tease you about other things, but not the sweater vest. I would tease you about, but not the mullah. Mullahs don't wear sweater vests. First of all, just doesn't happen.
We got the sweater vest going on today, so we're good.
Did the Daytona driver wear a vest, by the way, with your car that didn't win?
I don't think he did. You know what? I mean, I was watching the race last night. He survived about every accident right in front of him. It's like he had this shield around him that no car hit him as all these cars are flying around. And at least he finished. I'm pretty excited about that. He was in the top 20, and we feel pretty good that we had a great race, and certainly a lot of people were watching. That was fun.
Rick Santorum, we appreciate it. Good luck out there.
Thank you very much.